Hi, I'm Andy from CAD/CAM Educators Hub, and this set of videos are going to be looking at developing some fundamental skills needed to design a model in Fusion 360. In this episode, we are going to focus on the sketch environment, so let's jump into Fusion and give it a go. So to start off, what we're going to do is we're going to go into the sketch environment. Now you can do this one of two ways. You can either hit the create sketch icon just here with the big green plus, or you can go to the create drop down menu and you select create sketch just from the top there. Once you've done this, it's then going to prompt you to select the plane that you're going to want to create your sketch on. For us, we're just going to select this plane just here at the bottom. From here, what you might notice is Fusion is still wanting you to follow this left to right process along the toolbars at the top. Within here, we've still got Create, which is mostly just different types of lines and shapes that we can add within our sketch. Modify, which allows us to adapt and change some of those sketches. And then moving on, we have got Constraints, which locks our sketches up into certain rules to change how they can and can't be positioned. Now, to start our sketch off, we are going to go to Create. We're going to go down to Rectangle and we are going to select the Center Rectangle tool. Now, what we're going to make in this video is a sort of like an office desk with a little hidden compartment just underneath. What we're going to do is we're just going to follow the prompts that appear next to the cursor, which I think is a really good tip for the sketch environment. If you pay close attention to what the cursor is trying to communicate to you, you start to realize how the sketch environment works. So what we're going to do is hover the cursor over. And as I said, that cursor is going to change. And at the minute, it's telling us it's being placed on the origin. Now that is exactly what we're looking for. So I'm simply going to left click. You don't need to click and drag, just click once and then start moving the mouse. And what you'll notice is we can just do this by eye freely, or we can start to type in different values and actually set these numbers exactly. On Fusion, you'll notice that the default is millimeters, which you can obviously start to change. But I find it quite easy when in the sketch environment to simply just use different units at the end of that number. For example, our table on this side is going to be half a meter. So I'm just simply going to type in 0.5 and just put an M at the end. Just going to zoom out a little bit. And you'll notice that that padlock appears, just showing that that size has been locked in. To change over to the other side when using different shapes, you can just simply press tab on the keyboard. And the other side doesn't really matter for now. So I'm simply just going to press enter. Then what we will notice is it will add that rectangle like so, along with that dimension just there to the side. We're now going to set out the dimension of this other size, but we're going to do it in a slightly clever way. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to Create. Right down at the very bottom, we are going to select Sketch Dimension. From here, we are going to click that other side. Left click again just to place the dimension. And this is where we're going to think about the idea that we might want this table to come in different sizes and we don't want to have to change every single dimension each time. Instead, what we're going to do is we're going to left click on this existing dimension. And you'll notice it says here D1. That is simply just to reference that dimension that we've selected. So what we're going to do is we're going to do multiply by clicking Shift and 8 on the keyboard. And we're just going to multiply that by 2. So then when we press enter, it will automatically calculate that value just there. Just press escape to go off that tool. And if we really wanted to, if we ever changed this value just here, this one would automatically recalculate. From here, we're quite happy with how it looks so far. This is just going to be the top of our table. So to come out of this sketch environment, we just simply need to click the big green tick up to the top right. Once we've came out of the sketch environment, we are just going to hit the home button just above the view cube in the top right. And then we're just going to go to create and select the extrude tool to make this sketch 3D. Just going to drag it down by 50 millimeters, so it should go to -50, and then simply press OK. From here, we're now going to add 4 legs to our table. And to do that, we're going to use the view cube once again. This time, we're going to just click that bottom corner just there. From here, same as before, we're going to go to create sketch by hitting that green plus. This time, what you might notice is rather than just having to create it on these origin planes, just in this sort of yellowy orange, we can now create them on the sides of bodies, as long as that is a flat profile. For us, we're just going to select the bottom face of that table just there. Once we've done that, we are going to go to create. We're going to go to rectangle, but this time we are going to select a 2-point rectangle. From here, we're just going to go somewhere near the top left. I'm just going to place it down like so. Here for our measurements, we're going to go with 50 by 50. Now, this is something that a lot of people don't necessarily realize when they first start using Fusion, is that the dimension tool from just down the bottom of the create panel isn't just for setting the sides of shapes. You can also set the distance between different shapes or different objects. To do that, we're just going to left click on this side of our rectangle, then left click again at the edge of this body that we've already created. We're going to drag this off to the left just to set the distance between those, which I'm going to set as 40 millimeters. I'm going to stay on this tool, this time selecting the top edge, then the top edge of that body that's already there, and we're just going to set that distance to 40 as well. So you can see now not only have we set the size of this square, we've also set the distance from each of these existing edges. Now that we're done with the dimension tool, we're going to hit escape on the keyboard. After that, we're going to go to create, select this line tool right at the top. We are going to change the line type to center line just here on this sketch palette. And as I've said previously, the cursor is going to tell us about where we're placing it. And we're looking for this triangle to appear just there in blue. Again, if we match that up to the constraint, that is showing us that it's going to be placed on the midpoint. That is exactly what we're looking for. So we're just going to left click again down at the bottom, and it's just going to set that line going straight through the middle vertically. Then we're just going to do the exact same again, but this time going horizontally through the center. Now those lines have been set, we're going to hit create and select the mirror tool. Another little tip that can make your lives a lot easier on the sketch environment is if you double click on an edge, it will automatically select that entire shape. Then we can go to select for the mirror line, and it doesn't really matter which order, but you can start to mirror this over to the other side. From Fusion, if you right click off in open space, you can simply just click on repeat to use the last tool that you used. Again, double click, but this time we can double click on both of those rectangles, select our mirror plane as this one going across, hit OK, and now we've got all 4 legs set out exactly where we need them. Now we're done, we can hit finish sketch up in the top right once again, and just the same as before, use our view cube if we need to, and we can just find that extrude tool. This time we're going to select multiple sketch elements before we then extrude them down. Let's go with 400 and just simply hit OK just there. After that, we're just going to add some extra support to our leg. And to do that, you've probably guessed it by now. We are going to start by creating a sketch. This time on the side of these legs just here. Either one will do. And what we're going to do before we even start adding any shape to this is we're going to make sure we can use this face just here and the face of the other leg within this sketch. To do that, we are going to go to create, down to right near the bottom and select this project tool just here. What this will do, based on how you've set it in terms of the filters, is it will just allow you to add other elements of your design into this sketch by tracing around them. Now, as you can see, we can start to actually lock in whatever we add to this design to what we've just projected onto our sketch. The tool that we're going to go for this time is under Create, Arc, and then a 3-point arc. We're just going to judge this one by eye, not really too strict. We're just going to go with whatever you think looks good for your design. Same as the previous step, I'm just going to use the line tool as a center line. Just make sure it goes from that origin point straight down. Then create, mirror, and just mirror this arc over to the other leg as well, just so they both match. Once you've managed to add both, hit finish sketch. Extrude these out once again to turn those into 3D objects. I'm going to go with -50 just so they match the width of the table leg and hit OK. Then on the opposite side, if we use our view cube, we're going to hit create sketch and create a sketch on the opposite face of those legs. Then what we can do is use the project tool once again. This time we're going to change the selection filter to specified entities, and we're just going to stretch around those legs as well as this straight line going through that as well. Once we've hit OK, we don't even have to create our own shapes this time. We can just go straight to finish sketch, nice and easy. Then same as previous, once again, go to create, extrude, select both of these at once, -50 and hit OK just there. Then to finish off our table, we are just going to add some sort of hidden compartment just here. Maybe put your phone there, a notepad, just something to keep the desk a bit tidy, but with some storage just underneath. So to do that, I'm just going to hit the home button up by the view cube. Then the shape that we're going to go for is under the create panel. We're going to go down to slot, and we're going to select this one just here, center point slot. Again, whilst paying close attention to the cursor, I'm going to go to that origin point just there. And I'm not going to click, I'm just going to drag the mouse straight down. Just find the point about there. Then left click, and it's going to be starting from that center line. I'm going to go with 100 millimeters. I'm just going to go with about 50 there. Then what we can do, rather than having to draw out that shape again, I'm just going to go to modify and select this offset tool. With this, you can select the shape, and you can either make a shape that is larger with a positive value, or you can go with a negative and it will make that same shape but smaller on the inside. What I'm going to do is just drag this out. Let's make this a nice round number of 35, just so it overlaps the edge of this table just there. Once you're happy, just hit OK. Now what we're going to do is use a bit more of a freeform tool, which you can find under create. Go down to spline, and that one just there, fit point spline. Again, I'm going to watch what the cursor is doing. I'm going to look for that midpoint just there. And then with the fit point spline, you essentially click points along a path, and it makes a nice curved geometry between those points. Don't worry if you're not quite happy with it at first, because you can simply just click and drag these little nodes just to change that shape slightly. Then once we're done, hopefully you've guessed it by now, we're going to use the mirror tool because trying to sketch out that exact spline on the upper side is going to be quite difficult and just take more time than we need to give it. So create, hit mirror, select this spline as our object. Be very careful not just to select one of these nodes. Make sure you select the actual line itself. Then for the mirror line, we can simply click on the eye on origin on our browser and just select this axis just here. As you can see, it's just going to mirror that over to the side, and then we can just hide our origin once again. Then just to tidy this sketch up, we're going to go to modify, select that trim tool, and as you can see, it's going to give you this in sort of this reddish purple to show you which line it's getting rid of, and it's just going to delete that line up until the next edge that it intersects with. From here, we're now done, so we can hit finish sketch. And then to make this 3D, we're just going to use that extrude tool once again. Select just that outer profile, extrude it back by, let's just go with 120, and just click that OK button just there. Then one last step to do, just so we don't go to place our phone or whatever else it is inside this and it just falls through the other side. We're just going to close this off slightly. Want to look at this from that back view. One last time, we're going to go to create sketch on that profile just there. And rather than sketching anything out, we're just going to use that project tool. Select that face just there, hit OK, and that's it. Finish sketch for the very last time, and then extrude for the very last time. Make sure you select both profiles, and we're just going to extrude that out just by 25, just to give this a bit of a backing. Hit OK, and we've now got our finished desk table with that nice hidden compartment just below. Hope you've enjoyed this Fusion 101 video about sketching, and it's taught you some of those key skills for that environment. Join us on the next one when we'll be looking at the extrude tool in a bit more detail than on this video. Thanks for watching.